Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Investor Fuel podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil, and today I'm joined by someone I've been looking forward to chatting with, Morgan Harris, who's been making some serious moves in the real estate space. So, Morgan, I'm really glad to have you here. I think that our listeners are going to take something away from how you're approaching your real estate business. So let's dive in. So first off, just for people who may not be familiar with your world, can you give us the short version of what your main focus is these days?
Yes, I am a residential loan officer in the state of Louisiana. So basically, I sell money, make mortgages. See?
And what markets are you operating in?
Louisiana.
Amazing. So what caught my attention about you was the way that you mentioned earlier when we chatted about how you're putting like the fun in funding. Is that something that you are able to expand on, and how your specific approach works for your market?
Yeah, absolutely. Mortgages are very boring, to be honest. We are faced with the challenge of selling something that's not tangible, right? A house you can see, you can look at it, it's pretty. Money happens in the background. You see it go out, your mortgage payment every month, but you don't necessarily, give as much thought to your loan officer, which in my opinion is probably the most important person when it's involved in a real estate transaction. That means purchasing a home, selling, buying, refinancing. So in that sense, it's boring, it's not fun. And as a Gen Z, younger in the industry, I've been here for 6 years now. Immediately after college, I was a D1 cheerleader for 4 years. So I thought, how could I bring some of that same energy into what seemed like a very boring space, to be honest with you? And was honestly dominated by older men, to be honest. There's not a lot of young women who I feel would thrive in this industry, but nobody grows up and says, I want to be a loan officer. Most people fall into it somehow, some way, and that's exactly what happened to me. So I try to emphasize how we can have fun. What does that mean for me? A big part of my job is attaining new clients, right? Now, most of the time that comes through the real estate agent. However, there are a lot of ways that you can generate your own leads through your own sphere on social media. So what I did was I've done a couple of different fun events, but my last one that I just did, one of my really special agents, her name is Chelsea Snyder. She is pretty famous on TikTok. She's famous for the house tour nobody asked for. And I decided to give her the house tour that nobody asked for. So I hired a stand-up comedian, and I had my rental property listed for sale. And I basically took the comedians and made them like pretend to be clients for Chelsea. So she had no idea this was happening. She thought they were legitimate clients, and they basically showed up and did the most outlandish stuff ever. They were rolling around in the grass. They were telling her that they smelled meat in the house and they were vegan. They had fights, like the couple had a fight, oh, my mother-in-law is going to stay here in the master bedroom suite. We even had her get in the shower fully clothed. She took an entire...
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Shower, and then she said she, felt some spirits, and she started staging Chelsea. So I don't know many other loan officers who are doing that. Of course, we filmed the entire thing. We've posted it online. Everybody loves it. It was a really fun, cool experience that I could give to my agent because now she's getting more publicity from that. I was able to help a local comedian and in the same breath, be able to just have fun doing it. We also have some more events coming up. I like to get really creative with my ideas. So when they say, let's sponsor an open house, we're not just sponsoring an open house. It has to be fun. If I'm not in costume, there's no theme and there's no viral moment, what are we doing? So we have open houses coming up that are murder mystery themed. Who Killed the Deal is the next open house we're working on. We even have an open house this weekend where the actual kids in the neighborhood are running the lemonade stand at the open house. So we've invited all the neighborhood kids and their parents. I've had the money gun, and then with all the fake money, which is fun, right, to bring to a closing, woo, and then you tell them, okay, there's actually a real $100 bill somewhere here. So then they're scrambling to find the real one. That's fun. We've done, oh my gosh, I can't tell you, we've done content camps where I've rent out a studio and let about 20 local realtors come in and film their own content for their own social media, not branded with Guild, Mortgage, or Morgan Harris, but just to promote their business. So I think there's so many different creative strategies out there and nobody's really capitalizing on them. And I feel like if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, that sounds like a miserable life, There's way too much boring. So here to put the fun in funding is the best way I could put it.
Yeah, I love how creative you've gotten with this. That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Now, everyone I know has also had a moment where things got real, maybe a deal went sideways or just you had to pivot fast. Would you mind sharing one of those moments for you?
Absolutely. So thankfully, as far as the actual deal structure goes, I haven't had many. I had a great mentor who's been doing it for a very long time, over 40 years. So I've thankfully been shielded from any of the oh no's, right? But it's also a weakness in that I am very information overload and almost sometimes too precautious. I'm a very conservative person just by nature, meaning I want to prevent the problem before it even happens. And sometimes that can be really overwhelming for especially a first-time home buyer when you're going, well, yeah, you've got variable income. We'll have to do it to your average. I mean, nobody really needs to hear that, right? Nobody. The main thing is they want to get in the house. Every phone call, every paper to fill out, that's friction, right? That is just, and especially with my generation, I'll just go ahead and say it. If they go to a house and their shoes untied, it's their sign that this is not the one, right? And so you just kind of have to tiptoe, because I'll tell you who I'm great with, and that's my CPAs, my attorneys, my engineers love me, right? Because I have a lot of details. My blue collar guy who's just got off turnaround and I'm trying to explain to him, the difference between a buy down versus it's a lot. So I have been learning how to pivot with different type of clientele, and also just giving the permission structure up front. Hey, do you want to know X, Y, and Z? Or do you want to be, or are you just a person who's like, what's the note? What's the cash to close? Tell me where to sign. And knowing that up front is basically how you tailor your conversations with your clientele. If you can't do that, I find that that can be a real struggle for, especially people who are very type A like myself. I want everything perfect. But this is a very imperfect business. Life happens. So sometimes you just got to roll with the punches.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, absolutely. And people don't talk about this stuff enough. And it's like what separates the ones who just are dabbling in the industry versus those that are here for like the long-term game.
Yep. I always say some people have this as a job and then some people have this as a career.
Yeah.
I have this as a career, and I hope to continue in that. But doing that, and then also the biggest struggle, especially in our market, as well, is going to be, the classic bait and switch, if you will. Because you can tell someone actually, this is a great example. You just asked me of something it wasn't my deal.
Sure.
But there was a guy, he came to me, and I immediately saw he made great money, but it looked wonky on paper. And I said, look, before you even find a house, let's get you underwritten. Let's get your income finalized. Too much. Information overload. He went to the guy that told him, oh, yeah, you're fine. You're pre-approved. Everything's great. And this was a very loyal realtor of mine. So, of course, you want to take it personal, but in the same breath, you always put your client first. If that's how they feel comfortable, then you're supporting them. I mean, again, I'm everybody's biggest cheerleader, so I am rooting for it. The week before, there's 3 deals, of course, hinging on this deal closing, right? They have said, and it's the loan officer will come to them and say, oh, well, underwriting accidentally doubled the income. Underwriting, it was underwriting. And my realtor's calling me going, I don't understand. And I said, well, that's a question to ask them, but here's the difference. Let's call him Joe. Client Joe did not go to, his realtor or himself, look himself in the mirror and go, that blonde girl told me this. She told me this would happen, right? He's worried about getting in the house. That's all he cares about. So it is it's a hard balance to fine line. But that is something where, of course, my local realtor was super upset. I didn't have anything to do with it necessarily, but I felt like I could have prevented it. And knowing what to say, when to say, how to say it, why to say it is huge. And that could have all been prevented. So at the end of the day, the buck stops with yourself. You can't blame anybody who blames, I believe, is very low intelligence or just like, I don't know any other way to say it. You can always point the finger back at yourself every single time. So yeah, I think that answered the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Accountability is super important. So let me ask you this. What are you most focused on solving or scaling next? Like, what's that next real big goal for you?
The next real big goal for me is going to be, number one, obviously, my social media profile. I'm going to be continuing to nurture that. And then providing education in a very not crunchy way, right? Everybody has something out there, but a lot of it's junk garbage. So finding, again, that balance between not just entertaining somebody, but also educating them can be tricky and difficult, but I don't believe it's something that is impossible. So my biggest goal right now is getting the message out. What's my message? My message is to consumers, and the consumers, what I want them to know is the first thing that you should be doing before you do anything, before you open Zillow, is getting with a lender. find the house that meets your goals, right? Don't go find the house and then let a loan officer tell you what your goals are. Okay, you're going to make this payment and you're going to bring that money.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Okay, great, but wouldn't it be nice to be in the driver's seat? I use the analogy that, you don't go to the store, fill up your entire cart, get to the checkout and tell the woman, gotta go, I'm going home to get my wallet, right? That would be silly. Why are people doing it with houses? I can tell you why. It's because the consumer is driven by the product. They're looking at their phones, they're scrolling on Zillow, they see a house, and I can't tell you how many of them actually will contact the listing agent, like on the house, and say, hey, can you show me this house? People don't need to know what we are, what we do, how we do it, but they do need to be educated enough to know you should be finding the house that fits your goals, not finding a house and then seeing it that fits your goals. You want to own the house, you don't want the house to own you, okay? And it's so much better because imagine it's same thing with like a vehicle, for example. If you knew, hey, I want to pay X amount of dollars a month, you would go find a vehicle within that price range. You're not going outside or falling in love with something that you couldn't afford. It should be the same with houses. And it's the biggest investment you'll ever make in your entire life. Statistically, one of the greatest ways for the common man to build wealth. So why would you entrust that with just anybody? That blows my mind. I don't think it's because people are ignorant. I think it's just because they don't know what they don't know, right? It becomes common sense after, but I think the main goal is just saying, hey, start with a loan officer and then go find a house, then go contact an agent. That's my biggest goal within the next 12 months for sure.
Yeah, that's big, especially when you're trying to really educate people on a different approach of doing things. So, yeah, that next move can really compound things for you. Now, I know that a lot of the listeners are either earlier in their journey or looking to just level up, and I think they would benefit from hearing this. When it comes to building relationships and growing your network, what has made the biggest difference for you?
Absolutely. That's a really, really good question. Number one, I did this probably about 2 years ago. I cut out people or agents because, of course, we all have a call list, right? Every loan officer gets, call 50 agents, send, that's fine. I cut out people or agents that I do not align with values-wise. I'm a big conservative. I like showing you the highest number up front, and by the time you get to closing, it's $1,000 less on your cash to close and about $20 less on your monthly payment, right? I love that. Some agents don't value that. They want who's got the best deal, so when you cut out, and don't be afraid to stop talking to people. When you cut out the people that your values don't align, it makes a world of difference on your psyche. I'll give you a perfect example. Again, my boss, he's been doing it 40 years. He's had an agent, very, very loyal. All of a sudden, somebody comes in, swoops in, starts sending all the deals, and he's crushed, right? What did I do? What could I have done better? And I said, that's not a reflection of you. That's a reflection of that agent's values. If that agent doesn't value all the years, all the effort, all the hard work, you've never had a deal go sideways, you've always been great, and that she can be swayed by, go buy me Chick-fil-A or whatever, that's not an agent you want to work with. That's somebody who blows with the wind, and there are a good bit of them that do, and I don't think it's out of malice. I think it's just out of sheer, just going with the wind. I think it's just what people do. And if you just go ahead and say, you know what, that's not somebody I want to work with, and you focus really, really, really hard on the people you do want to work with, it makes a huge difference. And then not only that, when you're talking about relationships, they should be almost like a friend, like an actual friend. This is not a colleague. This is not a money tree that you can shake, right? I see a lot of lenders almost use agents as a pawn or a token to be traded. drives me insane, right? I don't think that any human being should be treated like that. I just don't. If you're looking at a realtor as, you know, the money tree, to me, that just screams where your values are, right? I want to be excited for an agent, regardless of whether I close a deal. If they're winning, I'm winning, regardless of who closes it. So when you start being strategic in who you spend your time with, right? And then double and triple down on what you do for those specific people, you get a return that is not only like the best return for you, but for them as well. Chelsea is a perfect example, one of my greatest friends. Everybody's like, oh, look at her, she's a superstar, she's amazing. Well, we did this together is what I really want to say. Like, we're building each other up the entire time. We're strategic partners in this business. It's not you send me referrals and, you know, I cut a check. That's another thing I'm super big on is I know a million people in the industry. They write a check, they get the business. And of course, there are laws that say you can't do that. Of course, there are ways that are loopholes around that. And I'm not knocking anybody who does pay for leads or do anything like that. I think if that works for you, keep doing it. I am just a big proponent of not paying for anybody's business. I want to be the girl that you go to because you like me, you trust me, you know me, you know I'm going to do a good job. While that may seem a little old school, I do also think it's freeing for the agent as well. The agent doesn't have this like ball and chain of like, oh, well, they did pay for my leads, even though I can't stand this guy. Like, I've got to send him, all of my referrals. And so I think seeing agents as friends and strategic business partners that you can grow together and not treating them like that, it does just a huge number on your brain. And then now you're getting that space in your brain to think creatively. Whereas before you were in desperation mode of like, okay, I've got to call this many people and do all these things. You don't have space in your brain to be creative when you're desperate. So although my circle is small, it's continuously growing. And I love seeing it because it's lifelong. Like, these are people who I know we're going to be thick as thieves no matter what. And that's a really freeing thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Relationships are everything in this space, so it's important that you align with those values.
Yes. And seeking opportunities for another person, I call it the like opportunity mindset, right? Not just looking at it as what can I do for you, but what can you do for them and expect absolutely nothing in return. The second you expect it, it's not going to work for you. Now you're thinking of this as a transactional relationship. When Chelsea calls me and says, I need a cool idea, I don't expect anything from her. Okay, yeah, let's do a cool idea. Let's do these things. You'll be surprised. It's the giver's gain, right? If you give, it will come back to you without you having to ask. The second you have to ask, you should be asking yourself, why am I having to ask for something, right? If you create the value, it's the like theory of like reciprocity. Like, is that the right word? Like when they reciprocate?
Reciprocity?
Yeah. Okay. So like, it's just natural. Like, if somebody holds the door open for you, you don't think, well, did they say thank you? You just mean thank you, right? Same thing for any strategic business. And also thinking outside of the box is like huge for me. Like, if somebody's doing something, take whatever their idea is and do it just a little bit different. And you'd be so surprised, like how things can change. So yeah.
Totally. All right, so before we wrap up, if someone wants to reach out, connect with you, collaborate, just learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Text me, Facebook, Instagram, or just don't. No, I'm just kidding. My name is Morgan Blanchard Harris on all social media. So yeah, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. If you know Kim Possible, you got that joke just now. But if you don't, probably don't text me, you know.
Perfect. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time,
Yeah,
sharing
of
your
course.
story and your perspective. We really need more people in this space who are doing things in this innovative way. So thank you for being here.
Of course.
And for those of you tuning in, if you got value from this, make sure you're subscribed. We've got more conversations coming with guests just like Morgan who are out here building real businesses. And we'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.